Looks like another politician got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and that's what we're talking about today. Welcome to the Real Estate and Wealth Podcast, where I help to make real estate easy for you. And today, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe button so that you know when a new episode drops. Today, we're talking about Adam Schiff. If you're not familiar with who he is a senator out of California, Democrat. He is being accused of mortgage fraud and voter fraud. I know, right? Another one. So let's jump into the details of this particular case and we'll compare it to our favorite case with Letitia James. So Adam Schiff, whose primary residence and where his family lives in my home state of Maryland. He's in Potomac, Maryland, where he has a single family home. Then he bought a condo in California, which he also listed as a primary residence. Now, the reason why he listed that as a primary residence, I don't know if it was to gain a benefit of lower down payments, but because he's a senator in California, he needs to be a resident of that state. And you can't be a resident of Maryland and be a senator in California now, can you? So he has a condo out there, but the problem is he claimed primary residence on both locations. Now, you might be wondering, well, maybe if he moved over to the new location, what's wrong with that? And you're absolutely right. But the problem is his family is living in Maryland and he is only staying in that condo when he goes over to California and he's doing senator business over there. So let me just tell you a situation where this would be okay and it would work. In this situation, if he was living in Maryland and he decided to relocate his family to California and buy a house, well, the house when he was living in it, yes, was his primary residence. And when he submitted the mortgage application, he would have checked primary residence. Now, when he moves, he can keep that house and he can rent it out and he can buy another house and say it is his primary residence, as long as he is living in that new residence. But this situation, he's not living there. Now, to get a little deeper, they would probably need to look at his tax returns to see how he is classifying these two residences to see if one is a second home and the other is a primary residence. But I'm just going to take a guess and say that he is not doing it the proper way. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't be under investigation. So, as you can see, there is a problem with this situation. Would you want your senator not living in the state where he is supposed to be representing the people? Now, he's all the way on the East Coast in Maryland. On the East Coast, we don't have the same problems and we don't deal with the same things as someone all the way on the West Coast. If you're not living there, you don't have any idea of what's going on, what the community is facing day to day. So that's not right. And I understand why they have those laws in place that you do need to live in that district that you're representing, which he is not. Then we have the voter fraud. With the voter fraud, it's really going to depend on where he's voting. And I'm going to assume he's voting in California because he is the senator for California. But his primary residence is really in Maryland. So this is, I'm sure, going to unfold. It's not a brand new case. It has been around for a little while. Now, let's compare this to the Letitia James case, where there are similarities to both of these cases. And it makes me wonder, why are all these politicians committing mortgage fraud? I know it's not new, but maybe they're doing this because no one has paid the price for it. But Looks like we're going to have a couple examples, hopefully. Tell me in the comments if you think either one of these cases are actually going to make it into the courts in front of a jury. I'm just not sure, and I think the public might not be sure. I see in the comments that you guys are saying arrest them, go to jail, and I think that's the sentiment of a lot of people, but we're going to have to wait and see what actually happens. Are they going to get indicted? Are they going to have to go before a judge and jury of their peers? Let's see. But let's talk about the differences between the two. Now, Letitia James, she lives in New York and she is the attorney general in New York. The problem is she named her primary residence in Virginia, and she did that for the benefit of getting a lower down payment and any other benefits that she was hoping to get from listing that property as her primary residence. So she's in kind of an opposite situation where she didn't do it to work there. And so her doing that is affecting her work in New York. And for her, in terms of voter fraud, it's really going to depend on where she's voting. And I'm going to assume she is voting in New York, where she works. So there are some similarities. And of course, we know Letitia James has a lot more accusations against her, just besides this particular mortgage fraud of stating that the Virginia house is her primary residence. But I'm just wondering, why are these politicians committing these crimes? Right? It's not new, but tell me if you think that they should start looking into more politicians to see what they're doing, because I know that these two can't be the only ones. Now, with Adam Schiff, if you are thinking like, okay, well, maybe he made a mistake, that could be the case, but he refinanced his primary home in Maryland in 2009, 2011, and 2013. And each time he listed his Maryland home as his primary residence. So as you can see, it is getting a little sticky here, and it could cost him his job, and he can get a set of handcuffs for these mistakes that he may have made. So I'm going to continue to follow this case as well as the Letitia James case to see what happens. I want to know, are they going to be held accountable for their actions just like any other person would? And as our friend Letitia James said, no one is above the law. So thank you for watching this episode today, and I hope you tune in on the next episode. I will see you soon.